And welcome back, Module 2 of our Magic Refresher. I'm Greg Barrett again with Communico. Looking forward to talking about creating that first impression with Shoreline Property Management Group. Love that tagline y'all have, your home, our commitment. So again, the first module, we talked about the mindset. We covered that, about what that is and what it looks like at Shoreline, what's important. And now we're going to be talking about creating a first impression. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that's important? With your internal customers, external customers, I know you're dealing with vendors in the property management world. Is that important? And you remember from Magic, absolutely. So we're going to go over some of the things. We actually have an audio for you to listen to. So what are these? You might have seen these before when we covered in Magic, and they are absolutely a thermometer and a thermostat. The question for you is what climate you create. And if you remember, the question was, are you the thermostat or are you the thermometer? And what's the difference? Right, absolutely. The thermometer just reacts to what's happening. You've got that difficult customer, whether it's a homeowner or maybe on a commercial side or the vendors that you're dealing with. Do you just react to that person being frustrated and angry? Sir, ma'am, I'm trying to fix something in your property management, your condo association. Or are you the thermostat where you have the ability to influence that? So when somebody's frustrated, you can say, hey, Mr. Steve, I can see that you're super frustrated about the curb being there, torn up during the winter months. We're going to take care of that for you. Appreciate you pointing that out to us. Do you have the skills to create that positive environment and de-escalate? So the question is, which one are you? And sometimes I got to work a little harder than others if I have a difficult customer. But we want you to focus on being that thermostat. You control the climate. You might remember this, but we'll do it as a refresher. We'll do it as a little quiz here. So the three elements of a message of what creates an impression, or another way to look at it, has somebody ever told you you have an attitude? In the last 10 minutes? Okay, absolutely, right? So in a face-to-face interaction, what is the greatest influence? Is either words, tone, or visual? Now in your mind's eye should add up to 100%. Let's see if you remember. Go ahead and take a guess. Words are 7%, 38% for tone, and our visual is 55%. So what's your takeaway here? In a face-to-face, our initial impression is on that visual. Do you have a frown on your face? Are your hands up this way? Are you defensive? Those are the things that make the initial impression. Or maybe, what if I was doing this video with y'all and I was wearing a three-piece suit? You know, a little pocket square, look great, cufflinks. You might think, oh, he's a little overdressed, or maybe he's a snappy dresser, but it would have formed an impression, okay? Absolutely. Many of you may not have a face-to-face interaction depending on your role at Shoreline. So one of the things that goes away is visual. So go ahead and take a guess again. Where is the emphasis on creating impression? 14% in words and 86% in tone. So when we're on that phone, we got to focus on being the thermostat, not the thermometer, okay? Another question for you as we go here. Is it important to have satisfied customers at Shoreline? Answer is absolutely. The magic standard, if you recall, is that every single interaction should be so appropriate that they want to have another one with you. Now that sounds great. I know you're saying, Greg, that sounds good, but do you have to give people bad news? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe something's not covered at the condo. Maybe something was damaged on a particular area, and the customer's not always right, although we want them to think they are, right? So even if it's bad news, the manner in which you do that, right? Because we'll be talking about words, tone, visual. You remember magic, tragic, empathy, some of the other things we're going to talk about that you went through. But it's the manner in which we do that that is super important. So another quiz to talk a little bit about the manner in which you do it. You might remember this one. Let's see if you remember all the numbers here, okay? So why do people stop buying? This is generic. This isn't specific to Shoreline. And here are the reasons up there. It's either the relationship with the salesperson, or in your case, property management firm, the price, maybe the contract's too high. We don't like what y'all do in terms of clearing and snow removal or fixing a roof. Or there's an attitude of indifference, and I gave you the 3%, okay? Should add up to 100%. What do you think? 4% on the relationship with a salesperson or a vendor or you as a property management. 11% on the price. Maybe you can't control that at Shoreline, who knows? 14% say we don't like the way y'all do it. And y'all remember this one? Yes, 68% an attitude of indifference. Now you may say, Greg, I don't recall what's an attitude of indifference. Attitude of indifference is when the customer feels like you don't care. It's either those words, tone, or visual. It's either you put your hand out, whatever, a tragic word that you're using, which we're going to remind you about in another module. It's showing somebody that you just don't care. Let me give you a different example, okay? You're going to listen to something in a second, but you might be able to relate to this. Let's take it out of property management. Y'all ever go out to dinner, right? You're excited to go with your significant other, is defined as whatever works for you, and you're excited to have that steak or hamburger or tofu or whatever you got going. And the waiter or waitress goes by like 10 times. And you're thinking, boy, they're busy. They go by again 10 times. And finally you say, excuse me. And they turn around and go, yes, we're just trying to get a drink order or appetizers. I'll be with you. That's an example of an attitude of indifference. Where if they were going to be magical, they'd maybe stop by that table and say, I know y'all are here. We're a little short-staffed. I'm going to be right back and get your drink order. It'll be a couple minutes. See the difference between the two? The attitude of indifference says, I don't care, you're bugging me. And this one says, I get you're here. I'm going to be there in a second. Let's listen to an audio. Now, this one's going to be about a car dealership. So all of us can relate to this a little bit. So it's not a property management, but let's listen for the components that either work or don't work.
Service.
Yeah, who am I speaking with?
This is Wally, service manager. May I help you?
Yeah, well, my name is George Barrett. I was just in there. I picked up my car. I was in for an oil change, and when I dropped it off, I don't think I spoke with you, but somebody else. I said my right rear turn signal was out, and the gentleman said that would be repaired and all that. And when I came in, I was a little bit of a hurry, so he said your car's outside. I got home and I checked it, and the turn signal's still out.
Okay. All right. Well, so what do you want to bring it back in and we'll take a look at it? When do you want to come in?
Well, I did first off, did anybody even look at it? Was it repaired? I don't.
I'd have to talk to the the technician, and right now they're on break. Not able to do that. Do you want to call back?
I mean, I guess I can call back, but I mean, I'm going to have to drive all the way back there, and I'm just in fear that this same problem is going to happen again. I mean, I don't know if they fixed it, and I don't know whether it was never fixed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. These things happen once in a while. Well, just
okay.
let me know what you want to do. If you want to call back, I could talk to the technician. You want to call back in like an hour, or you can come in. So it's totally up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll call back because I really want to know what happened and what's going to happen, rather than.
All right, the phone's ringing. My other phone's ringing. Can you hold on just 1 second? Thanks.
I'll just call back. Never mind. I'll just call back.
All right. All right.
Okay, so when you went through Magic, you might have heard about the dry cleaner tape. All right, so this one's a little bit different. What did you hear that showed you that was an attitude of indifference? Well, number one, the person didn't even use their name. Service, and the customer had to say, who is this? They said, Wally, the service manager. So then they explained their problem. Person said what? What was the tone? Yeah, well, okay, yeah, in fact, how about the words? These things happen. And then the customer says, well, what happened? Was it even repaired? And what did you hear? Yeah, could have been. I got to check with the technician. They're busy right now. We can't really do that. Do you want to call back? Maybe you should call back. I don't know. Do you hear that whole tone of, I'm bothering you, I'm bothering you, I'm bothering you? The attitude and difference, especially in property management. You all know, if customers feel like you don't care and you've got the words, tone, visual going, and this attitude of indifference, they feel like you don't care about their property, whether it's the commercial side that you're doing or whether it's a residential side. This is a killer because y'all know you've got competition out there. So we really want to eliminate that attitude of indifference. The bottom line here is back to your slogan in Module 2. I'll keep saying it through the modules in our refresher here, is your home, our commitment. We make a commitment to doing the things that we say we're going to do and doing that in a magical way. And again, that makes great impression on the customer. Thanks for joining in on Module 2 of our Magic Refresher. I'm Greg Barrett. You have a great day.